Good morning, this is Sarah, your healthy carnivore in the UK. If you don't know me, I discovered carnivore in 2014, exactly a year ago to the day today. So I've been in the carnivore journey for 10 years, discovered it before it was trendy and just in little forums on the internet. And here we are 10 years later with just full health, absolutely nothing wrong with me. Doctors can't find a single thing wrong with me. Over the last 10 years, I've eaten more meat than anyone I know combined. And I believe that eating fatty meat is the way for health. And I certainly don't believe in any of the nutritional science claims that say that red meat is going to kill you, because I've eaten more red meat, as I said, than anyone I know in the real world combined. Over the last 10 years, I've always eaten between 40% and 100% fatty red meat in my daily diet. Sometimes I've strung months together. This time I'm about to hit 5 months of my longest ever committed stretch of 100% meat every single day. I feel fantastic. There is nothing wrong with me. I have reversed loads of health benefits. But why? Why would someone do that? Why would someone do a carnivore diet and want to do it forever? Why would anyone not want to eat fruits and veggies? Why would people not want to eat nuts and seeds? Why would someone actively go out of their way to avoid fiber and seed oils? And what else do I avoid? Sugars, fructose, hyper-processed, ultra-processed foods. Why would anyone do the carnivore diet? And that's because over the last 10 years, I have seen thousands and thousands and thousands. We must be coming up to 10,000, if not hundreds of thousands of testimonials. And yes, I will take testimonials over botched, corrupt nutritional science any day of the week. I've seen enough. I've seen enough to know that fatty red meat is not only not harmful, it is the safest and healthiest food for a human to consume. I'll let you decide why they are telling us that it's harmful. You decide that for yourself. As we're approaching the new year, would I recommend people beginning carnivore soon and sticking to it for 4 to 5 months or more? Absolutely. I feel fantastic. I have perfect sleep, perfect brain clarity, no brain fog. I don't have pain in my feet or my knees that I used to have. I don't have the gastritis I used to have. I don't have the psoriasis that I had since I was a small child. The benefits of carnivore just keep on going. My main why is, one, because I've seen so many people heal stuff that you are not supposed to heal from. And then the other why, there are so many. There's too many whys for me to list, but let's go with this. My mother was a very, very sickly person, and I follow in her footsteps. She had lots of body parts missing. She was on lots of medication. She had a lot wrong with her. She ate a diet that was high in sugar, low in fat. There are some days she didn't eat meat at all. And I believe this low fat message, high sugar message that she picked up from a child, because she was born in 1950, which is, it's not long after she was born that these messages of don't eat meat and eat loads of carbs started coming through. As a teenager, she lived in quite a poor family, so she would have been eating loads of oats and bread and sugar if she could get it. And I think it destroyed her hormones, and all of the health problems she had moving forward were caused by that, in my opinion. And I don't want to end up like her. I had to watch her go through all this, and I don't want to go that way. So for me, it was back in 2014, absolutely understanding we absolutely must have animal fat every day in our diet, ideally from red meat, beef, lamb, and as much of it as we can possibly get. Some days, but I don't believe I've had that many days in the last 10 years that were less than 40% meat. Because even on the days when I wasn't perfect, I knew I had to get my meat in. I knew I had to get my fat in. Moving forward from that, how did I actually find it? It was on Twitter. I was following the husband of Amber O'Hearn, who's a very big proponent of the carnivore lifestyle. And he said to me, it's amazing that you want to give up wheat and sugar for your health, but what else are you going to give up? And it was 10 years ago this week that I fell down the carnivore rabbit hole and I never really come back. And I watched so much content, and I've looked into the origins of nutrition science. I have had some people say to me, why on earth would you do the carnivore diet without any science backing it? My answer to them was, because I have seen thousands and thousands of people, including myself, have hope and hopefulness for the future, because nothing wrong with me. Doctors can't find a single thing wrong with me. My HDL is in perfect range. My triglycerides are perfect range. I'm nearly 49. My next major birthday is 50, and I'm on 0 medication. Doctors can't find a single thing wrong with me. I have the 4 out of 5 biomarkers for health, and now I'm in pursuit of the 5th one, which is the waist measurement, which will come. Sadly, I'm one of the ones that struggle to get the pounds off, and so I am called a liar on an almost weekly basis right now, because I'm getting to the point where I'm over 4 months, heading towards 5 months, and I've only really lost a bit of inflammation weight, no real fat. So that means I'm a target for being called a liar. Bite me. I am not lying. In the last 137 days, I have not consumed any seed oil. I have not consumed any sweeteners. I've not consumed any sugar. I've not consumed any fruits and veggies and seeds and nuts and any ultra-processed, hyper-processed foods. I have been in ketosis the whole entire time. Sadly, though, it would appear my body's got some more healing to do. Carnivore diet is a healing diet first. The people that generally call you a liar are the ones that are quite new to the carnivore diet and haven't yet worked out that the carnivore is healing first and weight loss second for many people, especially females over 45 who've been through a really massive period of stress. My mother passed away at 71 in a lot of pain. I was there dealing with her, and at the time, in those moments, I wasn't interested in what I was eating, and I didn't look after my own health, and I'm now really still playing catch up for those decisions that I wrongfully made. But in the time, I was just living second to second, minute to minute. She didn't want hospice care, and I was there taking care of her. But what she went through terrified me so much. That does form part of my main why. Lost light. Just going to reactivate the light. Otherwise, terrified of dentists, because I've got such a sweet tooth, or used to have such a sweet tooth. My teeth are weaker than my husband's teeth, who doesn't have a sweet tooth. And so I have had work done in the past. I am terrified of dentists. The thought of having any work done, and then even worse, paying for it, terrifies me. But I know that with carnivore diet, I can put that to a halt. I'm terrified of getting things wrong with me that other people would run down the doctors for. I don't want to have to do that. And if I believe that carnivore is going to stop that, then I'm going to do it. So that's kind of my journey. That's kind of my 10-year journey in a nutshell. In the photo, in my thumbnail, I might pop it in here now. In my thumbnail, you'll see that I did have more inflammation when I was 38 than I do when I'm 48, which is interesting. I think the people that lose weight rapidly in the beginning tend to have a lot of inflammation to lose. And because I eat so much meat and don't eat hardly any of the things that inflame you, I'm not getting those sort of initial big whooshy weight losses that other people get. When you look at that picture on the left, I definitely had more fat around my neck and chin. I had more face than features, and these days I feel like I've got more features than face. That's what I think. When I very first did find keto and carnivore, I did lose about 35 pounds very, very quickly, which I believe was inflammation. I wasn't sleeping at the time. I was almost definitely pre-diabetic, but I wasn't doing blood tests at the time, so I didn't know, but I feel as though I was probably pre-diabetic. Like I said, I had gastritis, psoriasis. I was not sleeping, terrible insomnia, waking up and not going back to sleep again. Just brain fog, very low moods, crying a lot. And now I don't do any of those things. My sleep is perfect. I don't have anything wrong with my gut. So to the person that said, you're a liar, well, thank you very much. Thank you for your incredibly helpful feedback. To the person that said to me, why the hell would you do carnivore diet without science? I'd say, show me the science on where you're eating. Come on, show me the science paper of the way that you're eating. Go and find it. Go and look for it. You will struggle. It's probably been burnt because it was just such botched, biased, corrupt science. It's probably been burnt anyway. Where is the actual science? Who's been locked up in a laboratory for 10 years and studied? To really do this, you need a 10-year period, and you need a vegan, a vegetarian, a mixed diet eater that's eating some ultra-processed foods. You need a keto person, you need a carnivore person, you need a lion diet person. Put them in a laboratory for 10 years and look at their health outcomes. Who's going to do that? Who's going to be locked up for 10 years for that to work? And that is really the only way you're going to do any science on this, and that's not happening because there isn't the money for it, and no one would want to do that. Though if I didn't have a husband and children, I'd be up for that. Lock me up for 10 years, feed me meat. As long as I can get my sun every day, as long as it's in a place in the world where it's near a beach, where we can get sun every day and we're completely monitored, I'd be happy to do that. Wow, at the end of the 10 years, I would look banging with a tan. But sadly, I have a job to hold and a husband who wants to be fed and children that need dealing with. So I can't be locked up in a laboratory. So I'll just keep going with my life. So yeah, 10 years in the space. Obviously, my journey has been imperfect. It's been up and down. Up until 3 months ago, nearly 5 months now, I'd only managed to kind of string together 2 to 3 months at a time. I've never had any serious health problems, but I do worry about that. And now that I'm getting near to 50, I was getting a bit more uncomfortable with being off carnivore. And then back in the spring, I quit my job because I was done with the up and down. I was just done. And now you've got me permanently. And in 10 years' time, I will be saying, okay, I had 9.5 years bumpy, 10 years strict. You've got me not going anywhere. So that's kind of my journey in a nutshell. That sums it up in the most basic way possible. Do I recommend you do carnivore? Well, that's really up to you, isn't it? There isn't really any cast iron long-term science on any diet, though people eating other diets would have you believe that there is. Why on earth would you do the carnivore diet without any science? Because it's how I feel the best. I feel the best and most bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when I'm carnivore. My blood sugars creep up when I'm not doing it. When I'm doing it, they're back to normal. My knees hurt when I'm not doing it. The knee pain goes away when I'm doing it. Plantar fasciitis I had in my feet earlier this year. The pain went away within a couple of weeks of carnivore. I had 15 skin tags. I've recently lost 13 of them. I have 2 left. But there's no science on it. There's no science. Before carnivore, I had terrible gastritis, which had nausea and diarrhea symptoms. Couldn't leave the house sometimes. That's gone away with carnivore. I had psoriasis my whole entire life. That's gone away with carnivore. But there's no science on it, right? No science. I actually can't find my health benefits list, but there's more on there than that. Varicose veins, general mood, blood sugars obviously in range, HDL in range, triglycerides in range, not on a single medication. By the time my mum was my age, now for those of you that think that bodies are just naturally packing up or that all these things are genetic, if it is genetics, check this out. By the time my mum was my age, she was on about 5 or 6 different medications. She'd had an operation on her foot. I don't know what that was connected to. But when I was 13, she had a hysterectomy, her whole entire reproductive system taken away. A few years after that, not long, she had a thyroidectomy, thyroid taken out. That was a horrible operation. She ended up on medication for both those things. Then, not that many years after that, she had a bladder cancer scare and had to have surgery on that. Had to have a bit removed from that. Then she discovered she had the stage 4 bowel cancer. Now, for those of you that say red meat causes that, she hardly ever ate red meat. You know, the science behind red meat causing cancer is just, it's just not there. It's just not there. Most people that get bowel cancer and have to have the bowel taken away, well, barely eating any meat. How can you pick on the meat when it makes up like between 0 and 5% of their diet? Couldn't possibly be anything else, right? So she had that. Then she had to have 21 rounds of chemo. One nearly killed her, by the way. I don't talk about this very much because it's not a very nice day, but she did have an anaphylactic shock from one of her rounds of chemo that nearly took her out in front of me. I did comfort eat that day. Do I feel bad about it? No. Back to carnivore afterwards. She had 21 rounds of chemo that didn't sort her out. During that time, she had a huge section of bowel removed, had to have a stoma bag. And then towards the end, after all the misery we went through and all the scariness we went through, she ended up dying of multiple organ failure. How much of these things were caused by the medication she was on? How much was caused by the diet she was on? I'm on a very, very different diet. I'm on no medication. I feel good. I feel like I did in my 20s or before. So, also, before I go, this hair colour is natural, by the way. It does get lighter in the sun, but this hair in the roots, really dark, okay? Really dark. My mum went grey at 19. Is it the meat? Is it the extreme amounts of meat that I've been eating? Or luck? We will see. But I've heard so many stories of people getting darker hair, grey turning back to dark on carnivore. But there's no science, right? There is no science. One thing I'm looking forward to getting rid of is these silly things. These turned up a couple of years ago. I've heard that if you can do carnivore strict for at least a year, lots and lots of people have their prescription changed. So it's possible. Fingers crossed, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't happen. Fingers crossed, I may be able to give up the glasses in a year's time once my body's completely healed. It has still got healing to do because I still believe I'm in a high state of insulin still. Because I'm not fast adapting. I'm just not. So it might get to the point after Christmas where I may have to start tweaking. Not because I'm, to try and, well, I suppose it is weight loss related, but I just don't feel like I'm fast adapting yet. So when I get to the 6-month point, if I still feel like I'm not fast adapted and there's still no weight loss, I may consider some light tweaking. And by that, I don't mean I'm going to start micromanaging every calorie. I don't believe in calories anyway, but maybe upping my fat. Maybe when I get in from work, instead of eating the pork belly that's got the beef, the lean in it, finding a way of eating just fat in that moment and just give that body just more chance to keep burning the fat and keep the insulin down. It may be that I have to start doing a really long walk after all of my meals to get my blood sugars back to absolute perfect as quickly as possible. But I'm going to give it 6 months of doing exactly what I'm doing and not changing anything and see. And then by that point, I'll probably start to get so frustrated that I may have to do tweaking. But you've got me forever. I am not stopping. This is me done in the carnivore community. This is my summary of my journey. There's probably a lot more to it than that. I could probably talk about it more, but I think that's enough for this video. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. For those of you who made it to the end, I was going to move that hula hoop. I've just spotted it. I might be healthy, but I am still crazy. I'll catch up with you tomorrow on day... Where are we tomorrow? I think today is about 137 and tomorrow is about 138. And on the 18th of December will be my 150-day video, and there's going to be some noise in this car. I'm going to watch this back, see if any of it made any sense, and see if I need to rerun it. Hopefully not, because I've got to go to work now and don't have time to rerun it. Any of you that come into the Carnivore conference on the 14th of December, don't go to Kent. It's London. Some people are calling it Essex. Some people are calling it London. The reason I thought it was Kent is because it's just over the river from where my best friend lives in Bexley Heath. And that counts as Kent. And so because it was, as the crow flies, not far from her, I just decided it was Kent. Don't go to Kent. Follow the postcode on the Homestead How link. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening. And just keep going. Whatever you decide to do today, do what it takes to be healthy and happy. Take care. Bye.